Hello, YouTube land. Mr. Fix-It here. Now, if you're wondering why I refer to myself that way, it started when my wife and I first got married. It seemed like that anything that was broken in the house, my response would always be, I'll fix it. She even gave me a t-shirt once that said that. But if you've seen my video that I did where I fixed her ceiling fan for her, you know how a lot of times it turns out. But I like to think that I can be taught and I can learn. And over the years of being together, I've picked up a few tips that I'm willing to share with you, not on how to fix ceiling fans, but on how to keep your marriage, your relationships going straight. Because see, the one thing I do know is that I love my wife. It says it right here on my shirt. And no, she didn't buy it for me. I got it for myself. Ephesians 5:25 tells us, gentlemen, that husbands are to love our wives as Christ loved the church. Now, a lot of people, they'll do Ephesians 5:24 through 5:22 through 5:24, which talks about the women being submissive, and that's all fine and dandy. But really, where we need to be focusing is on that next chapter that too few people talk about. That's husbands loving our wives, willing to be able to sacrifice ourselves for us and do for our women, elevate them, take care of them like the cherished jewels that they are. And that's what these videos that I'm going to be doing are all about. And I'm inviting you to come along and join me on the ride. Even challenge me. If I plan to go shopping, tell me where it is that you think that I ought to shop. I want to be less than obvious. Take me someplace that, is not the florist or the candy store. I want to go be able to honor my wife while I'm shopping at Lowe's or at Walgreens or at some place that maybe doesn't seem quite so obvious. If you've got thoughts on maybe a good place, put it down in the comments. Of course, I live in a small town, so I'm going to have to warn you. If you get too particular, I might not be able to find that particular store here, but I'll do the best I can to get something close. I'm also going to maybe talk about The Love Dare. I don't know how many of you might be familiar with that. It was a great book that came out as part of the Kendrick Brothers movie Fireproof that had Kirk Cameron in it. It's a step-by-step process for being able to celebrate your spouse. And it's used in the movie to save his marriage that's on the brink of divorce. And it actually is a really good book. And we'll take a look at that as well. I also challenge you to go ahead and watch that movie and some of the other Kendrick Brothers movies if you want as well, because they're all really, really good. They're writing, they're funny. They're just enjoyable and quite the hoot. But back to talking about the shopping, I want to focus on the fact that it's not always about the money. Let me tell you something that I have learned about women over the years. They more prefer that it is not about how much you spend on them, but about, in fact, you can even spend nothing. Reflect, though, that you were thinking about them and where your thought process was. A great example, I think, is if you go into Walgreens, your first thought might be, if you want to celebrate your spouse, to go into the candy aisle. A lot of times that's not a great idea, because she's trying to keep herself all trim and good looking for you. She may feel like you're trying to torpedo her efforts by getting her candy. Instead, if you can go over to the makeup or the hair care aisle or something along those lines, not in a way to tell her that she needs to do more, but instead to be able to reflect that you realized that she was out of something. You paid attention. And you know what her favorite brand is and her favorite scent, her favorite colors. Be able to show that you've been paying attention to her, because the trick is trying to get a PhD in your mate. I challenge you to study your partner, study your girlfriend, study your wife, really learn her, learn what she needs, what she wants, that sort of thing. That's going to be the journey that we're going to go on together. And I'm really looking forward to having you join me on this trip as we go and celebrate our wives, our girlfriends together. I thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing your comments, your suggestions down in the down below, and it's going to be a fun ride. Take care. Bye bye.